What's up, everyone? It is your favorite host, Armchair Commentary, aka David Smith, finally back, doing some recording, doing some content. And I thought, man, it would be super fitting to get this episode in because there are so many questions happening around this team. So I give you my first in a series of team histories, and in this case, team offenses. I bring you the curious case of the Chicago Bears. So before we can dig into what's going on currently, I need to take a little bit of a trip back in time. Time when defense ruled, when championships were won by running the ball, before the passing game became what it is today, before the West Coast offense took over. The Bears were founded in Decatur, Illinois, 1920-ish, although there's some argument there that it was maybe a little bit before. They were the Decatur Stanleys, okay? They were early team. They were one of the founders. They are an early, long-ass team. They have been around forever. 1939, they ended up being a little bit different. Of course, we're coming into the merger. So they were the Decatur Staleys from 1920. They were the Chicago Staleys, 1921. And then in 1922, the Chicago Bears, top Bears, were born. Colors are blue, navy blue, and orange. Orange is a burnt orange and blue, and they gave me some Pantones. I'm not giving you Pantones. You can deal with that. And of course, their biggest rival are the Green Bay Packers, it's one of the most old, storied rivalries in all of professional sports. People talk about original six hockey teams. People talk about, the Red Sox and the Yankees. Bears-Packers is up there in terms of maybe all-time rivalries. Why don't you let me know in the comments what you think the oldest, best rivalry is in all of professional sports. So the franchise brings on George Halas, who ends up buying the rights to the team and names them the Bears. And then I'm just going to swing way forward because a lot of stuff happens. Okay, the Monsters of the Midway happens. Sid Luckman, who we'll talk about in a little bit, led the Bears to 4 victories in 5 NFL championship games. They actually won the NFL championship, which is pre the 1970 AFL-NFL merger, which I'm sure I need to do an episode on at some point. They won the championship in 1921, 32, 33, 40, 41, 43, 46, and 63. A little bit of a gap there. How many Super Bowls have they won? The 85 Bears. And of course, the late Halas era, the struggles, all of this is not, this isn't to be glazed over. I'm not doing this to say that the Bears don't have incredible past, because they do. I mean, we're talking about Walter Payton. Payton went on to eclipse Jim Brown's rushing record in 84 before retiring in 87. And then, of course, Emmett passed that. Yeah, he was an incredible man, and then Ed McCaskey succeeded her father as chairman of the board. Virginia McCaskey took over as majority owner, took over from Ed McCaskey as chairman of the board. And then 85 comes around, and we're talking about Mike Ditka, Iron Mike, with Refrigerator Perry, and pretty spectacular team, known as one of the greatest defenses of all time. And then all of a sudden, kind of fell off. There was the Lovie Smith era. Then there was the Mark Trestman years, if we want to call them that. John Fox was around for a little bit. Everybody knows the Matt Nagy years. And here we are currently, Matt Eberflus. So the Bears are an old team, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But the real question is, why haven't the Chicago Bears been able to produce a 4,000-yard passer. Their entire history, they haven't been able to do it. So let's take a look at some of the quarterbacks who probably should get a little more love, but ultimately didn't make it. I want to talk about post-AFL merger quarterbacks. I don't want to talk about anybody that was playing like Sid Luckman. I'll give Sid Luckman his due. He's number 2 all-time in passing. I think he's number 2 all-time in touchdowns. Touchdown percentage was there. He had 14,686 yards. 14,000 yards. Sid Luckman, number 2 all-time Chicago Bears passer. So let's talk about the post era. Of course, we had a Super Bowl winning team. Didn't have a 4,000-yard passer, but had one of my favorite quarterbacks growing up because the guy was tough. Jim McMahon. 1982 to 1988, played 68 games, won 46 of those games, threw for 11,203 yards, for 4th best on the list. We had Eric Kramer, who threw for 10,000 yards. He played from 94 to 98. Bob Avellini played from 75 to 84. He played 73 games as a Bear, 23 and 27. That's a tough go. 7,000 total yards. It's ugly. Mitchell Trubisky, 5th all-time Bears passer. Mitch is sitting at 10,609 yards. I don't know if he was done right by them, but old Mitchell, the biscuits are dry. Trubisky, 10,609 yards. Had a winning record as a Bears QB. Just want to throw that out there from 2017 to 2020. And the one that I'm missing from our top 10 before I get to number 1 is Jim Harbaugh, who threw 11,567 yards from 87 to 93. So the number 1 guy on this list, by a large margin here, is Jay Cutler. Jay was brought in. If you remember Jay Cutler, boy, he had some fun. Jay came into the league and blew people away with a cannon of an arm, absolute cannon of an arm. Drafted by Denver, played a couple of seasons in Denver. Did not like it in Denver. Had 4,000 yards in Denver, just for the record. Had 1,000 yards in his first year. Played 5 games. First full season, threw for 3,497. Second year, threw for 4,500 yards. And he went 8-8, which is like, it's okay. 2009, it's traded to the Bears. And I think a lot of us thought, well, this is it. The Bears finally have the guy that can run this offense the way it's supposed to be. And it started out hot. 3,666 yards, threw for 27 touchdowns and 26 interceptions, went 7-9. Not great. But 2010, they went 10-5. They went 10-5. That's a great improvement over a 7-9. I'll take that any day. Threw for 3,200 yards. 2011 was not his best year. Didn't play as many games. Only played 10 games. Threw for 2,300 yards. Not going to hold that against him. Played 15 games in 2012. Threw for 3,000 yards. Only threw for 2,600 yards and a 5-6 record in 2013. And in 2014, threw for 3,800 yards. He wrapped up his time in Chicago with a 15-game, 3,659-yard season. 2016, that was it. Off to Miami for 14 games, threw 2,000 yards. That is your Chicago Bears number 1 passer. He played from 2009 until 2016. Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler's your number 1. So where does that leave us now? Where are we today with the Bears? Sorry, as I take a drink of my coffee. It's not live, so I can do that. It is what it is. Where do we go now? What do we do with Justin Fields? Justin Fields is a problem for the Chicago Bears. He has played 30 games. 30. Okay. And it's just not good. First year he played 12 games. He went 2-8. He started 10 of those, so he only gets 10. 10 wins. This is how it works. If you come into the middle of a game, you don't get credited with the win or loss. It is what it is. He threw for 1,800 yards. He didn't crack 2,000 yards. His second year, okay, 3-12 out of the 15 games that he played. 2,200 yards. He threw for 17 touchdowns that year at least. He had some tutties. First year he had 7. So far in the year 2023, Justin Fields has thrown 51 pass attempts. 51 completions, 88 attempts, 51 completions for 526 yards. 526 yards. That's it. That's where we're at. 527. I know you're thinking that's 3 games in. That can't be that bad, right? It's not that bad. Armchair, it can't be that bad, right? It's pretty bad. It's actually comically bad. Zach Wilson has 467. Gardner Minshew has 398, played a game less. Actually, game and a half less. Andy Dalton has 361. I mean, like, looking at this, I go, Justin Fields has barely more yards than Ryan Tannehill. Josh Dobbs, who's supposed to be the worst quarterback in the league right now. Desmond Ridder, we're looking at you, but we're 3 games in. We're 3 games in. What is going on? What happened here? Kenny Pickett has 689 passing yards. Kenny Pickett doesn't have a high-flying offense. Kenny Pickett is not... Look, they're Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, who many thought, no way this guy is going to make it. No way is he going to be, able to do what he's doing. 655 yards. You've beaten him. Your league leader is Kirk Cousins, which is crazy to say. Tua's got 1,024 just behind Cousins, and that makes a little more sense. Guys, CJ Stroud has 906. Cousins has 9 TDs this season. Justin Fields has 27 TDs in his career. 9 TDs would be a second best season of Justin Fields' career. Through 3 games, Cousins, Tua, and Justin Herbert are on pace to eclipse his greatest passing total by the midpoint of the season. No problem. Some of these guys are going to throw for 5,000 yards. Justin Fields is not the answer. And if you listen to my friend Jeremy Green from the Sportsocracy, you know that. Because he's been telling you since before he was drafted. Hey, you got to do better. This is a guy that got in it. He was 9th in MVP voting last year. That's crazy talk. The guy is super athletic. I don't believe for a second that it's not an athleticism problem, because it's not. I don't think that's what it is at all. What I think is Justin Fields has a hard time reading an NFL level defense. And we've seen the coverages. We've seen him get blasted into it. The guy's complaining about coaches. That's not going to get you anywhere. I think that you got to look at this objectively and go, I think it's time to move on. If I'm the Bears, I'm trading for Kirk Cousins. I'm trading for anyone. Give me someone that can complete 4,000 yards, because it can't end this way. It can't be that the future of the Bears is that they just don't have 4,000-yard passers. I don't believe that's fair. I don't believe that's the way it's going to go. Ultimately, it's up to the Chicago Bears what they're going to do. They have often been a team defined by their defense. In my era, the best Bears players were either running backs, linebackers. Brian Urlacher. Matt Forte was a pretty big running back when he was on. It's never the quarterback. Of course, I am a New England Patriot fan, so I've been spoiled. But even the Jets have had 4,000-yard passers. The Cardinals have had 4,000-yard passers. The Steelers have had 4,000-yard passers, a team that is often built from the defense out. Every team has done it. It's time that the Bears got on board. That's going to do it for me today. Thank you again for watching. It is just a short video. I plan on doing these for every single NFL team. So if you want your team up next, hit me up in the comments. Make sure to leave your comments below. Tell me, what did I miss? What do you want me to cover? What teams are you most interested in hearing a little bit of history about? Most importantly, which is the best and oldest rivalry? You get to pick, best or oldest. Don't forget to hit that like button. Follow if you're watching on Facebook. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Leave the comment, like, share, pass it along, and I will see you next time. Peace.